in the state of West Virginia. Um, so, we do monitorings of hospitals, prisons, jails. We're in the school system. We do individual advocacy. I tell people a really good rule of thumb is if you have a disability related issue, start with us. Even if we're not the agency to do what needs to be done, we can get you where you need to be with fewer phone calls and fewer running around trying to figure it out. I did put our phone number and our website in the chat. Our website is full of resources for people for self-advocacy. So they may be able to find what they need, by themselves on their own. And, no one's a better advocate than yourself for yourself.
Yeah.
So, another thing that, this actually, the 79-year-old is what made me think of this. We also have a nonverbal communication card on our website that's a PDF. Anyone can print it out. It's two-sided. Um, you can print off as many as you want. All of our brochures are there too. So, yep, that's disability rights in a nutshell, pretty much.
Very cool. So I don't think it's you. It might be the Center of Excellence in Disabilities, but there's like a monthly call to workshop if someone's like having difficulty with a case involving that. Is that you guys or is that the Center of Excellence in Disabilities?
That's CED.
Okay.
Yeah. I think CED is through WVU,
Yeah.
if that's correct.
Yeah.
But we're actually federally mandated through the Rehabilitation Act.
Okay.
So we're federally funded. We are federally mandated. We are federally all our we have to answer to the federal government. Um, every state is required to have a protection advocacy for their state.
Organization. Yeah.
Mhm. Some states make their own state agency that do it, but most of them do like West Virginia did, where they contract a nonprofit to do it.
Hmm. Okay.
So
Interesting. Well, I might have a question for you about something. In the building that we're housed in, we've been having issues. Our elevator has been out for like over 6 months or so. It hasn't been a big issue as of yet, but we're up on the third floor. So like clients have to take the stairs. We haven't had like a handicapped client or where that's been necessary yet, but we've had a fight with the building. But anyway, sidebar. We'll keep doing some quick introductions. And if you guys have any updates, really anything you want to talk about in this like time, but Ashley Lowe, if you wouldn't mind going next.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley Lowe. I'm the reentry coordinator with the U.S. Attorney's Office. We cover the northern 32 counties. No big updates right now for us other than we are just keeping our heads down and hoping we have a job every day.
Sure. Yep. That's how a lot of people feel right now. Very well. Keep going. Danica Brown.
My name is Denise.
Danica. I'm so sorry, Danica.
I work for West Virginia Division of Corrections and Rehabilitation, Physical Housing, Employment, and programs in the community to complete populations under supervision.
All right. All right. Let's go with Ms. Matthias. Ayla, if you're ready.
Hey everyone, Ayla Matthias with Aetna Better Health. I work with their social determinants of health team. No updates on my end.
Very well. All right. Jan, if you're ready.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jen. I am the outreach coordinator for Northwood Health Systems crisis units in the Northern Panhandle. We are located in Ohio County and in Brooke County. We can assist with detox and also if somebody is struggling with their mental health, any acute psychiatric symptoms. We do have beds open at both facilities currently. Sorry for the background noise. I am driving. If anybody has any questions, I did not put my number in the chat yet, but my email is on my picture. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. All right, Richard.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Rich Ward with the Division of Rehabilitation Services. No updates either that I can think of, but feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Email is in the chat.
Very well. And I think everyone's been pretty good about it, but if you haven't dropped your information in the chat, which is something I need to do, please go ahead and do that. And Sherry?
Good morning, everybody. It's Sherry with Aetna Better Health Community Development, and I cover Preston County out of these 3 counties.
Yes. All right. Yeah, Victoria?
Hi everyone, I'm Victoria. I'm the Family Resource Network Manager with United Way of one of Preston counties. The only update I have is we have our drug identification and trends training coming up. It's free, so on the 27th of this month, and I believe there's 5 spots left.
Good to hear it. Yeah, I might register for that. I did not attend the one last year, but I know it was very popular. And I know it's on my schedule, Victoria, but when is that ACEs training coming up? Is that May 1st? The end of April?
Mhm.
May
Coming
1st.
up April 1st. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, May 1st, 9:30 to 4, and I can send the link for both of those in the chat.
Cool. Yeah, please go right ahead. All right. Seth.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Seth Hansen with Groups Recover Together. I'm the Partnership Development Manager for West Virginia, and nothing new to report. Thanks.
Very good. And Colleen.
Hi, I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
traveling. Can you hear me?
I can, yeah. Mhm.
Okay, great. We do have just a real quick update. In addition to the daily services, I wanted you to know for your clients that if they need assistance with tax filing, that Christian Help is an approved VITA service, and we're doing services for taxes on Wednesdays between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. from now until April 9th, with the exception of next week, just because a lot of my processors will be on spring break. But if you want to refer your people, please ask them to call and we will call them to set up appointments, or we'll work with them to set up appointments between now and April.
Lovely. Lovely. I'll mention that to my people. We'll see what they say. I know the tax return's very popular. Everybody loves that season. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for giving a rundown, everybody, just introducing yourselves. And nobody really had too many updates, which is okay. And then Victoria just dropped that stuff in the chat for that drugs identification training. And the ACEs, the Adverse Childhood Experiences training coming up this month and up in May. So I just want to give everybody a quick update because the last time we were all on, we were talking about the reentry bags project, which is kind of our chosen flagship thing that we're working on here. So as far as updates, I did go down to the probation office and discuss the project with them. And they were very much on board with everything. So they even provided some suggestions for like items to put in the bag, which was very kind. But they were all about it. They would even like house some of the bags in their office, and we talked about being able to determine like who would need it most. You know, making sure that that's the people that would be getting these reentry bags versus kind of handing one out to every single individual. And they would be able to, from their position, be able to decipher that and kind of just get those materials in the hands of the people that do need it most. So that was a good meeting, a good partnership established there. And they did suggest that we put bus passes in the reentry bags as well and just get those in the hands of people that would be coming out. So I went down and I talked to the people at Mountain Line, and they seem pretty on board with it too. They have a project right now where they are giving bus passes to people that to both direct resources and organizations that help connect individuals to resources, particularly like for the homeless or the houseless population. So they were very much on board with also like giving us some bus passes once the time comes. So I think that was all pretty fruitful. And then I just had some questions. I don't know if Krisha, if you had any updates on like the actual bags. I know they were at St. Mary's. If we've found some type of source for funding to get those bags, or if we need to look into that further, or what's happening.
I do not have a source for funding for the bags. So if there are any uh local foundations or, Rotary, United Way,
Okay.
anything like that, that's usually who we write to. So if
Okay.
you have any ideas for anything like that, sometimes even the local hospitals or behavioral health or something like that. And it doesn't have to be those bags. At the end of this school year, every kid wants to get rid of, they want to get rid of their backpack and get rid of a new one, if it's still in good shape and it's a decent backpack, we can take those used backpacks and fill them up. So there are lots of different ideas for the backpacks, but those are they're good sized duffel bags, and it was just kind of because they're so big, they're waterproof. I don't know. Let me see. They're weather resistant. I don't want to say they're waterproof, but they're weather resistant.
Yeah.
And it's the whole full cycle, of they're being created at St. Mary's. So,
Mhm.
but if we don't have funding for that, there are other ways to get backpacks and stuff. So, everybody has those drawstring cinch bags, but you really, you can't fit a whole lot in there. They're not that strong. The things start to unravel and stuff, but so if you've got ideas for local foundations or something, send that to me. I will be happy to write the grant for it. For the bus passes that you mentioned, that's great that they're interested in helping with that. Did they have funding, or did they have a way to provide?
Yeah. Yeah,
Good.
I actually, yeah, while I was there, I grabbed some for the public defender's office too.
Awesome.
So yeah, they're kind of doing it, and kind of what their ask is data collection, because they
Okay.
want people to know like they're having like they got a single ride pass or a 15 ride pass. They got it
Okay.
from where, and then where are they going with it?
That's awesome.
Just yeah, they just want a better track to make sure they're getting people services or
Yep.
something
Okay.
like that.
And and when we do the backpacks, they do have to do an intake form with us.
Right.
And
And
so,
I showed that to probation and stuff
uh-huh,
too, that intake form. So they were about even facilitating that. They seem to be like, if we
perfect.
get all these things together, we can kind of like hand off the actual bags and stuff to them as well as the intake, and they would
Yeah.
be able to kind of do the rest, the actual enacting of it. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
that was all cool.
Um,
But since everyone's on here and people know stuff, oh, and Leah, you said something, or any of you familiar with the OP shop? What's the OP shop? The op
Um,
shop? Is that what it is? It's okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, the only reason I put it in the chat is because if I didn't put it somewhere, it would scroll right out of my brain. I ran into a lady that works there, helps operate it, whatever. It's in Fairmont. Have you guys heard of this place?
The option. No. What do they do?
It it's re-entry jobs.
Okay.
They specify people with disabilities. Um, I talked to her about you guys as well, and I told her to go on your all's website and sign up for these meetings. But they're a nonprofit. They specifically work with people with disabilities going through reentry. And they also can assist people that have had sex offenses, which I know kind of is a difficult one to work with.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because they have some contracts with the state that for the rest areas along the interstate, but they have a lot of different contracts. They have a print shop where they do t-shirts and stuff like that too. But I wanted to just ask you guys if any of you all were familiar with it, because it is up in y'all's area. Like I said, it's in Fairmont.
Hey,
I
Aaliyah. Hey, it's Rich. So can you all hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Okay. Yes, so the op shop is actually what's called a community rehabilitation program. And so it's very similar to like Goodwill Industries or Pace Enterprises or Job Squad, for example. So they do a lot of work For us, for example, at the division, we contract with them to provide a variety of trainings. As Leah said, they do have contracts, janitorial contracts with the state. Those are those what's called state use contracts. So they don't just work with individuals with criminal histories. It's not just about
No.
reentry. But yes, that's certainly just like us, a piece of what they could do if that
Mhm.
individual has a disability. And you know, we know that just because you have a criminal history doesn't necessarily mean you have a disability, but I think the chances are pretty high. So, you know, that's just my opinion. But anyway, yeah, so they're what's called a community rehabilitation program, if that
Okay,
makes sense.
sure. I'm just scrolling through their website here. Thanks for dropping that in the chat. Just kind of seeing everything they do, and yeah, it seems really cool. And
Thank you, Rich, because you explained that a lot better than I did.
Oh no, I wouldn't say that. I would just say that I just knew the name of the community rehabilitation provider. So that's probably their technical term that they would
Mhm.
describe themselves as.
But I told him I would also let you guys know in our next meeting about them, you know, that way, and it might be something.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna bookmark this right now and talk to our social worker about it too, to see if she knows anybody that's looking for employment. I think this is wonderful. And honestly, like the sex offender stuff, I usually don't work with sex offenders, but I just understand the barriers for trying to get them in any type of recovery, any type of housing, any type of services like whatsoever. So if they do offer anything for that, that's certainly a niche that needs addressed. Hmm.
And I wasn't aware, but their website does say that they operate a sheltered workshop, which is I mean, there's mixed feelings on shelters workshops across the nation, but basically, they for individuals who work in their shelter workshop they would not necessarily have to pay them minimum wage. So you know, that's just a little bit of information.
I I I wonder that too, Rich. I saw that on their website. Because when you look up the 14C list, oh shoot. I promise I will learn to type one day. Um, if I'm not mistaken, there's only one left and I don't even know if that one's left, to be perfectly
Yeah,
honest.
I think there are very few, so I don't know if they haven't updated their website or what. I don't know off
When
the top of my head.
the
If
last the last time I looked on the Department of Labor's website for 14C, um, the only one left was up in the Eastern Panhandle, and it was that treasure chest. It's something. I can picture their sign in my head, and their 14C had to be renewed this past autumn, and I'm not sure if they renewed it. I'm on the department website now to see what, as of March 1st, 2025, there is no data to show for the state of West Virginia. So
so,
I'm
yeah,
wondering. I think that they're calling it a sheltered workshop, but according to the Department of Labor website, they do not hold a 14C. So
yeah.
they would have to at least pay minimum wage.
Okay, yeah, they may have just not updated their website, and you know, for this particular group, that, in my opinion, is not really that important. They would probably not be working with someone, um, uh, with the population that this group is interested in, that would fall into the category of needing sheltered employment or sheltered workshop. I would see
Mhm.
that as being very, very rare.
I'm wondering, and I ran into this with another place, is they're calling themselves a sheltered workshop because it's what what DRS would normally call facility based, but the public knows it is sheltered, so they're kind of keeping that terminology, which makes it even more confusing for people like me and you.
Yeah,
Who
that could be it. But for our
I'm just wondering.
purposes, you know, we can't
Mhm.
place anyone in employment in a sheltered workshop.
Right.
So anyway,
What's a
Yeah.
sheltered workshop? Pardon my ignorance, guys. And
No,
you said,
the shelter workshop is one of those, like I was saying, a facility that and again, across the country, they've gotten away from shelter workshops, but basically it's a facility or a company that hires individuals with disabilities, and they are not required to pay them minimum wage.
okay.
When,
That seems problematic, just as you explained it right there, without any further details.
Yeah, and that's
well,
what they're, like they are getting away from that across the country. And like Aaliyah was saying, there may not even be any left in the state of West Virginia. Um,
Okay.
so, and for this particular facility, they may have just not updated their website yet.
here,
So,
I'm gonna put the website in the chat like I said, as of March 1st, there is no more. 14C is the federal certification to allow people to pay less than minimum wage. As of March 1st, there are no more left in the state of West Virginia.
yeah.
So that
And
means that last one up in the Eastern Panhandle, and like I said, I cannot think of the name of it. I can picture their sign. It had like a pirate treasure chest on their sign.
Okay.
and great,
Thank
just for a little background information. I mean, there are a lot of different opinions on shelter workshops. There are a lot of people who are, very against them. There are other people, even people with disabilities and their parents, feel like they're very beneficial.
Sure.
That they are
Right.
more of a day hab facility where some work is going on, and it's not problematic for them. They don't really necessarily care about the amount of money that it's earned. In some cases,
Sure.
that's beneficial for them not to earn money, but they have they have
Kind
something
of
to do, a place to go.
in between like a full-time job and some type of volunteer opportunity for someone that would have whatever disability it might be.
Significant,
It
yeah.
makes sense to where that could be a good thing, the sweet spot,
Yeah,
but
there's different
yeah,
opinions on it, so
sure.
yeah.
I got you. So
but
Ashley dropped in the chat. So I'm sorry to I'll let you finish your thought, Richard.
Oh
Please.
no, I was finished. I think Leah was going to
Okay.
say something.
Oh, please.
well, you had already said it. It is kind of that sweet spot, but because when you're talking about someone who's like most significantly disabled, um, trying to get them into and a lot of families will also see it this way. So when you talk about integrated employment, competitive integrated employment, you're talking about a house of cards. Where you remove one, the entire thing comes crashing down. Because you're asking a company to pay minimum wage, at least minimum wage, and to make a special position that is specific to that individual's abilities and needs. And it takes a very, very delicate balance between supervisors, co-workers, job duties, job locations, transportation. I mean, you are literally talking about a house of cards. It's beautiful when it works.
Mm-hmm.
You take one thing and you shift it just a tiny bit, and the entire thing can come crumbling down. So there are families and there are individuals that actually like that sheltered workshop environment because it is solid employment for
Yeah.
that person. I'm not talking about the money they earn. I'm talking about being able to go somewhere and do a job and
Sure.
be around people and be a part of a community.
Right.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So that's the argument for it.
Mhm.
And the argument against it is, and Rich, you can tell me if I'm going a little too far with this one, but we live in a capitalist nation, and if we can take advantage of people, we will.
Yeah, some people view it as making money off of the backs of individuals with disabilities,
Yes.
and some people see it differently. So
Yeah.
and
And
so I think and we're kind of getting away from topic for this
yeah,
particular group. I'm sorry, but it's good to know information.
yeah,
But just shoot, now I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. Moving on.
it's okay.
That's all right. Well, Ashley did put a message in here. I don't know if you want to speak to that, Ashley, but you're
Yeah, sure.
okay, please.
So we were in a Martinsburg Reentry Council meeting where we had an individual who was trying to get somebody an ID the very next day who was staying in a homeless shelter. And so we had kind of found out about this affidavit, so I just wanted to share it. Essentially, if someone is staying in a homeless shelter, someone at the shelter themselves can actually sign off on this affidavit and say that they're staying there, and then that could be used as a semi-temporary address on their ID, so that we can at least get them some employment and then start working towards getting them some assistance.
Okay.
The one thing that, so I actually talked to the DMV, the folks, the directors there. The one thing that he told me is that they don't ever check to see how long someone is staying at the homeless shelter. So with that being said, we're thinking of this as possibly a workaround for our folks that are unhoused and are actually like living on the streets or in tents. That if we can get them to agree to stay in a homeless shelter for one night, we might be able to get someone to sign off on that form for them so that they can get an ID. We're going to reach out to homeless shelters. That's kind of our next step, is reaching out to all the homeless shelters in the state. Just make sure that they're aware that this affidavit exists, so that they have somebody on file with the DMV to sign off on it. And then also kind of seeing if they have rules themselves about how long somebody has to be there until they sign off on it. So that way we just kind of have a form that we can share with one another, and make sure that we all know kind of what to expect in our areas if we're in that situation. So.
Okay, yeah, that's wonderful news. Do you know, does the Grace Shelter here in town, do they already have these? Are they aware of it?
I don't know yet. I haven't started reaching out to anybody.
Okay.
I'm working on another deadline right now, but once I get that done, I was going to start reaching out and see kind of who's using it. But you're more than welcome to share it with them and just kind of have any contact with them there soon.
And this is only for shelters, because I know that at least some of our clients, they get their mail down at Health Right here in town. So could Health Right possibly use this, or they would not be able to use it for a address?
I do not believe so, because it has to be where they're physically staying at night.
I understand.
The way that he explained it to me.
All right.
So, but I wanted to confirm too that he said that they never check to see how long someone's staying there. So I'm hoping that that's something that we can kind of use as a workaround for those that we can convince them just sleep one night in a shelter and we can get you an ID.
Right.
That we might be able to do that.
The biggest barrier, I mean, if you just getting someone to sign off on it, that would be the thing, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, and I now have the contacts, Krisha does as well, that we can get them on file. So if you do talk to any homeless shelters that are not on file with the DMV, don't have somebody that has that, that signature card or whatever it is that they're looking for, let me know, and we'll work with them to make sure that we get them on file so that we'll be good to go.
Cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley, for kind of, taking the lead on that, that Martinsburg, Chelsea had some information, and, we pulled pieces together, and Ashley's like, I'll make a phone call, and, here we are. So thank you.
Very nice. All right. So kind of back to the reentry bags. I'll just ask the group then. So do you guys want to go with the ones that we had talked about from St. Mary's that are made by the prisoners that are kind of a bit more robust? Or should we try to like source them with like after school kind of leftover bags or something like that? Yeah, what's the group think about those things? And then we talked about funding sources a little bit last time, but I'd love to hear again if we could get that in a direction, but please.
Let me throw this out there too, that you and I had emailed back and forth with Brenda Waugh, who does the restorative justice programs, and the Restorative Justice Skill Building Institute is June 13th. So feasibly that could be close to the end of the school year. I mean, I don't know, with weather and all of those things. So that might align with the time that, kids are coming out of school and, might be needing to clean out a backpack. But we had emailed also about setting up, boxes and barrels or whatever for donations at the Skill Building Institute. So that could be another source for us to gather the items to go in the bags and then possibly the bags themselves. But just throwing that out there, and I put the link over there in the chat, and I'll drop it again if you need me to. But if anybody wants to register for the Skill Building Institute, if you want to be a vendor, if you want to be a volunteer, Everything is there on that website. So they do need volunteers too. So, and then if you're a volunteer, you don't pay the registration fee. And then they do have housing in the dorms, and then there's also some hotels and stuff too.
Yeah, I'll check that out and send it out to my office and a few others. Very cool. All right. Well, I don't know if anybody else has any other resources or anything to share. We kind of talked about the reentry bags, floated some ideas, and we talked before too. I think Chris, you had mentioned it, setting up the barrels, even having an event to collect items at 123 or just some type of music venue. And you said your son's band was coming through town, or they had already gone through or something?
They will actually be there tomorrow. They'll be
Oh,
there tomorrow
wow.
at 123. So
Very
yeah.
cool.
So tomorrow night. Yeah. So go check them out.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you sent me a flyer. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, but you know, we can set them up, you know, I don't care to reach out to a contact person there or whatever, you know, we can do it at the Skill Building Institute if there's other events that are going on. I thought somebody had mentioned like a home show or an RV show or something else that was coming up in that area.
Yeah,
So
Colleen had brought that up.
yeah,
There's a few things going on out at the Milan place. There was a few
yeah,
conventions, but yeah, good place to collect items. Yeah. Yeah. And then
yeah.
someone had also talked about the tattoo expo, 'cause that's coming up in April. Here's my notes from like last time. Anything that's coming through the Marriott or the waterfront hotel, because I mean, how many people are going to walk out of there with those little shampoos and conditioners? Those would be perfect for these bags. Um, yeah, we brainstormed a lot last time, but yeah, I just want to update everybody on where we are with that. Um, yeah, I'll look into the funding sources for the bags. If not, maybe looking into just getting the bags somewhere else. But I like the St. Mary's idea, honestly. I like that it's coming from prisoners. Talk about the circle effect. You're providing direct help the only way that like this a group like this could. Yeah, no, I think that might be the better solution there.
And
Yeah,
I did create that back at the flyer. I've just dropped it over there too. So I did create that for you. I forgot that you took that over to day report or probation parole, whoever. So
yeah.
I mean, you know, if anybody local wants to print that out, I can email it to you, or you know, if you have places you want to put it out and start collecting stuff, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I took that down to them and I think they liked everything that was on that list right there. And then I'd also talked to Colleen about borrowing their barrels as possible like means of
Yeah.
collecting stuff. So that'll be the next step. That's what I'm going to work on this week for this particular project, just getting some of those flyers out and then drop up location set up at least a couple places downtown, maybe our office, maybe day report. I don't know. But that's where we are with that. And then after we get all these things together, we'll have some type of event where we'll pack all those bags. And I imagine I'll provide some type of food, maybe at our office's expense. And I'd like everybody to come to that and put some stuff in some bags, hang out, eat some pizza, listen to some type of music. I don't know. We'd love to have you. Anyway, um, that's about all that I wanted to go over. I wanted to try some hokey stuff if you guys don't mind, but considering the state of events in this country, where it feels that we've lost some type of moral war about whether we should care about other people, I thought it'd be nice to go around and just tell me a win that you've had this year. Could be personal, could be professional. I don't care. Just need some positive energy. You people might have some. Even if you don't, you could spend your time just complaining about something else. I'm for it too. I'll back you up. You tell me about a neighbor, someone that pissed you off. I'll blindly support whatever you say. So please use this time to share a win or vent, whatever. But uh, Danica, as I was corrected earlier, if you would like to go first, you're more than welcome. Please.
Um, Yes. Can y'all hear me?
I can kind of, it's a little muffled, honestly. I don't know if
Okay.
it's because it's on the mic or what.
No, no, no. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my fan on. Um, a couple of wins.
Could be one. If
I
you have
was
one, that's amazing.
I was honored nationally by the Women's Missionary Society of the AME Church on their young adult missionary website for my service in my job,
Wow.
service with the youth in my church and in the missionary society with the picture and a little bio. I was on
Wow.
their page last week.
Dude, that's awesome. We got to drop that in the chat, dude. What's the website? If you have it
It's
up.
it's actually on the Facebook page for the AME Young Adult Missionaries.
All right. Well, that's so awesome. So what exactly is the work that you do that you've won this award just with the youth in your church? Please explain a little if you wouldn't mind.
I'm over the Young People's Division of my church, the YPD, and we do community service events at Ronald McDonald House. We collected cans of soup for our Super Bowl carrying to donate to an elementary school for their after-school food program. And we've also donated socks, scarves, and blankets to the homeless. And we've taken cards to um, older people who are in um, homes, kind of to cheer them up during the holidays.
Yeah.
And we sang Christmas carols to them.
Wow, dude.
And we also did another community service event where we donated luggage to the Children's Home Society for kids who find permanent homes that are adopted. So that way they have an actual bag that belongs to them.
Yeah.
And we also donated to a diaper drive when we had an event at a planning meeting in Dayton, Ohio. And at our planning meeting here in West Virginia last September, we donated items to a domestic violence shelter to help children and families.
Hmm. That's awesome. Well, you're doing a lot of good work, dude. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. I don't know if we should have started with you. I was looking for small wins or something, but yeah, look at this great one, dude. That's so awesome. Wonderful. Wonderful. And then I did not find the page. I don't know. I'm not signed into my Facebook here. It asked me to do that. And I got deterred. I'm so sorry.
I'll send the name. I'll send the thing to you.
Please, yeah, I'd love to celebrate it, dude.
Okay.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Well, it's going to be tough to follow.
I'll volunteer.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'll break the transition for everybody.
Please, thank you.
So it's not so much a win like D'Amica was talking about, but that's awesome. I mean, congratulations on that. That's a lot of really good work. But with all of the stress and attention that's kind of constantly battering on your brain, I have stopped watching regular TV and news. I just watch like my streaming channels. If there's a TV show or a movie or a series of movies I want to watch, I'll watch them. And I'm doing a lot more self-care, just sitting and crocheting or sitting outside, with my dogs, enjoying the nicer weather now. I'm just really focusing on self-care and self-preservation.
Yeah, self-preservation's that's the right word for it. I had a conversation with my therapist this week talking about healthy compartmentalization and doing exactly that. And it's a fine line you have to kind of stride between staying informed, but also not causing yourself to be in a deep depression
Yes.
through awareness. But no, you do want to know what's going on, I guess, to a point that you can respond or enact or do something, right? But yeah, at a certain point, it becomes very much to your detriment. And self-care, I guess that's just a good lesson, something that we could all employ, man. So yeah, thank you. Very much a win. Very much a win.
Hey, I'll go next. That's
Please.
very good advice, Sherry and Grant. I like this activity. You're absolutely right. There's a lot going on. So no matter what your feelings are, just get involved and express your feelings. But my win is well, first of all, let me set the stage with this. Danica and I have been doing these meetings together for what, 10 years now, at least. So she probably would recognize if I had my camera on all the gray hairs that I've gotten over the past few years. And one of the reasons is that I raised two boys. And so my youngest, who probably put more gray hair on me than anyone, um, and we never expected would do well. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but he's just exceeded expectations. He recently graduated from college, got a teaching job right out of college, and just last night, that's why this is fresh in my memory, was hired as the athletic director for the county that he works in. So yeah, we're real pleased with him.
That's awesome. That's very cool. The athletic director.
Yeah, he's tall and thin, not short and fat like me, and he likes sports. I don't know where he got it from. I hate sports. I don't care for them at all.
Okay.
Just not my thing. But he certainly enjoys them. So more power to him.
Fair enough, dude. That goes against the normal, but usually it's like a dad that's super into sports that wants to impose it on the son, and the son just ain't that into it. But
Yeah, well,
nice flip
it's just
side.
not for me. I don't,
It's all right, man. That's all right. Well, that is once again a lovely win. Thank you, Richard, for sharing. Who would like to go next?
I'll jump in there after Rich.
Please.
This might be a premature celebration, but I'm going to celebrate it anyway. We have been working with DRS with a client for about 2 years, and we finally have this individual in an integrated competitive employment. It might be premature because we are now about to cross the finish line with this being a position that she's in and everybody being done as far as services and her being independent on her own. We're just our last hurdle is finding her reliable transportation.
Okay.
So if you guys know of any reliable transportation in the Eastern Panhandle out towards like Berkeley County, please send me an email because we are really trying hard, and I've got everybody, her family, her friends, the employer. We're all looking for reliable transportation because once she's done with her job coaching hours and everything, CRP and DRS will have completed their work,
Mhm.
and we want to make sure this person stays where they're at.
When you say reliable transportation, like a vehicle for this, what exactly do you mean?
This person's not able to drive. They
Sure.
will need someone to pick them up and take them to work and then bring them home. And there's no public transportation in that area. There's no Uber. There's no Lyft. There's
Right.
What area is she in?
Moorfield.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Moorfield
Yeah.
is kind of out there, yes.
Yeah, there's nothing much there. The individual does have IDD waiver, and the waiver will pay for someone to drive this individual. But we can't find someone that'll take on the job of and yeah, this person doesn't work 40 hours a week. She doesn't even work 5 days a week. She's not able.
Aaliyah, have you checked with the guild to see if they have anything or anyone that could work with her that could help with the transportation or help get her set up with some transportation?
Off the top of my head, I'm going to say no, but I'm going to have to look in the client's file to see how for sure. I have called so many different places, but I will double check that. And if I have not, I will contact them. Thank you.
Yeah, check the guild because they got a lot of they've been adding a lot of, recovery staff and peer support folks and positions like that that are hands-on, and they might have a mechanism by which someone could start working with her and maybe help provide or help get someone paid to do the transportation since she's got the IDD waiver.
Yeah, and it would be, I mean, I know waiver that type of work doesn't pay much, but you know,
Did and I'm assuming you probably have talked to DHR in Moorfield to see if they have anybody who needs, who can drive her.
yeah,
Okay.
I have talked to uh Human Services, and I've worked with the DRS office out there. They're
Okay.
even looking to see if they have maybe a previous client or an
Is
employee
she
looking for a
is
second
she
job.
going is she like going from Moorfield to Petersburg, or is she just like staying in the Moorfield area? Where does she need to go?
She is going from Cape and Bridge. That's the town that she lives
Okay.
in.
So she's in Morgan County.
Yes.
Okay.
I say Moorfield because that's the DRS office that she's out of, and so my brain, that's where she's
Okay.
at.
No, that's okay. So
Um,
she's living in Morgan County, but going
mhm.
to Moorfield to work.
No, she's going to the state park to work. It's
Oh,
about a
okay. At Capen.
yeah, 30, yep. It's about a 30 to 45 minute drive from her home.
Okay.
But there's nothing out there. There's nothing
Did you check
that's,
with starting points in Morgan County?
I've never heard of them.
Mm.
Starting
Okay,
point?
so yeah, starting points in Morgan County. Um, and the senior center, how old is she? She's not older, is she?
No, she's not a senior.
Okay. Check with starting points in Morgan County. They are there in Berkeley Springs. Their office is actually in the same building with the senior center for Morgan County, but they do a lot of programs, and that's more their area.
Hmm. So this ended up being big. I I was ready to just be happy that this person has a job, and now you guys are giving me all kinds of resources that I can maybe find some transportation for her so she can keep it.
Yeah. Well, and even if they themselves don't have anything through starting points, because they are more for families and children, but if they don't have anything through starting points, I will say right now that that group of people working in Berkeley Springs and Morgan County, they are fully integrated in the county. They work with all agencies in the county. I mean, they get a lot of things done in their communities, and they're very rural communities, as you can well imagine. So if anybody can help find something, they probably can.
Well, I was thinking about using part of these meetings just for that exact thing, just like if someone has a particular issue, just kind of troubleshoot it with the group. So I'm glad that worked out, and I consider that it's almost like a ×2 win. Look at that. You guys are making connections. And Diego, I was able to pull up your post. You look so nice there. And it has this lovely bio about you. That's very nice. But congratulations again. Not to discourage anyone else's win because they're all wins, but Danika's win is winning. Anyway, that being said, who has not gone that would like to tell us about a win?
I'll kind of follow up kind of like with what Danika's doing, but I think for the past 9 years I've served on a youth leadership program in 2 of the counties, Boyd and Granite counties here in Kentucky. So it's high school juniors, and every month we take them to a different community service, a different business, something. So every month they learn about something in their community. So we've gone to served at the neighborhood. So they served lunch, they sorted clothes. They did all of those things for that. In December, they got to do, they listened to everything on the court docket that day. They toured the jail. They went over to learn about how you get your ankle monitor and all of those things. Yes, Danica mentioned the neighborhood. I love the neighborhood. I always invite anybody here that wants to come to visit the neighborhood. Actually, the director of the neighborhood is the chair for this youth leadership program. I'm the vice chair. So Jeremy and I work together all the time. So yeah, December they did the court docket, they toured the jail, they got ankle bracelets, and then we did a mock trial. January we had to cancel because of weather. Last month they went and visited the community and technical college to learn about trades. And then they went to the AT&T call center just to learn about, other jobs that are available. Thursday will be our final session with them, and they're going to tour the hospital so they can learn about jobs in healthcare. And then they have their graduation ceremony in the evening. And these are, I think we have 8, 9 school districts that are part of this program, and each one has to have a community service project. So they have done everything from like sock drives, canned food drives. Some of them did different things for admission to basketball games and football games, that they had to donate things. But one of my favorite projects that they did was somebody did a website on bullying and how that impacts high school and middle school students. So that's something we hadn't seen before. So, these are all kids that, they have to do an essay. They have to, go through an admissions process. We only accept 40 out of 9 different school districts. But I've done this for the past 9 years, and, the next group graduates on Thursday. So it's pretty cool to see, to help shape future leaders. And, we purposely take them to the neighborhood in Thanksgiving, in November. That's Thanksgiving month, so that they can eat what they're eating there at the shelter. And they're sorting clothes. And so we purposely do that during Thanksgiving month so they can be thankful for what they have.
Wow. That's lovely, dude. That's beautiful. Oh, another tremendous win. Thank you. So who has yet to share a win?
You haven't.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Oh, my win. Well, to be honest with you, everybody, it's been a tough week. Tough month rather. My grandmother had a fall some time ago, and she was in a rehab place, just trying to get back on her feet, literally. And she was able to go to a house that my partner, her mother died last year, and so her house was available. So my grandmother's staying there right now. And for one thing, well, here, I'll tell you the story about her fall, and I'll just consider that the win, because I got a call one day. I said that she's fallen, which is always terrible. I don't know if you had that happen. Not a good thing. But what made it a little bit worse is she had fallen outside her house, and she had stayed the night outside, and a neighbor had seen her. It was like horrific. I had terrible image of like her like out there, but just not fun. But it turns out, I guess, the next day, like after the neighbors there, EMTs up there, someone was in the house and they smelled gas. There was like a gas leak, I suppose. So then, and it was getting like progressively worse. The person from the gas company said like, no one could be in this house. You need to get out. It's dangerous levels. So like initially you think, oh my gosh, terrible. She fell outside, but she fell. I thought it was made worse the fact she was outside, but it actually might have saved her life. The fact that she had spent that night outside rather than just had gone to bed. So just kind of one of those weird things. You don't know what's good or bad till you really know all the details, but and she's doing okay now. She was in a rehab place for a while. She's back up on her feet. She's doing okay. So I'm going to consider that a win. But I just think that's one of those weird little tidbits about life. Like, I don't know. I thought that was odd. I don't know why she even went outside. She said she feeds a neighborhood cat sometimes. I don't know what inclined her to do it then. And she probably was a little dizzy because she was inhaling the gas, and that would probably upset her balance. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Just an odd occurrence. Anyway, a win? I don't know. But it's something that wasn't terrible. Anyway,
Definitely a win.
yeah. I just thought that was just weird, dude. Like, had she been inside and the same thing happened, like, I don't know. Not good to think about.
His
But
time is always perfect.
yeah, yeah, it's all right. So I believe, did most everybody go? Would anyone like to share one that has not shared one? Don't feel forced like you have to. Maybe you've had none. Maybe we're just reminding you of all the wins you haven't had. So sorry about that. But would anyone else like to speak? We got 4 minutes to continue sharing wins. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I just want to thank everybody for their time this month. I, I think it was a good use of time. I hope everybody liked it. I appreciate everyone doing the win check-in activity, kind of talking about different resources. Ali, I'm glad that you were able to get that one issue troubleshot, and hopefully you find a place and get that late some transportation. I mentioned maybe motive care, if that'll work, and then even just like local churches, especially if you can get it paid for, someone there would maybe do it. If it's only a few days a week to and from, maybe a possibility.
And I appreciate I mean, you guys have put several things in the chat already that were direct messages. I mean, thank you, because we're just, it's that final hurdle. But like I said, integrated employment, something that the individual enjoys doing, and we're trying to keep that house of cards standing.
Mhm.
Grant, next month is Second Chance Month. So if you can find somebody that would be willing to share their story for us, for Second Chance Month.
So we had someone from West Virginia Peers do that. I think that was in December. Travis did. Maybe someone else. There's a
Yeah.
Wendy or Tisha over there. Well, that sounds like yeah, that
We would,
sounds lovely.
to celebrate their wins.
Yeah, good
Yep.
stuff. Well, anyway, thanks again, everybody. I appreciate you all. And we'll check back in next month.
All right.
Have
Thank
a good
you.
week, everybody.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Enjoy the rest of your week,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.